Here we go. Preparing to live stream the meeting over on YouTube. Fantastic. Great. Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this 27th of April Dream Team session. And let's see who's here this evening.
Here we go.
Preparing to pause. Yes, we don't want two of us or two of me coming through from YouTube as well. So let's come back to the Dream Team. And of course, let's say hi and good evening and how wonderful you're looking. Gilda Pereira, the Queen of the Visas. How are you tonight, Gilda?
Fine, thank you. Everything is good.
Excellent. And you are, of course, Queen of the Visas from Assessoria Imigratoria, and you can help people this evening on any aspect of moving to Portugal from a visa point of view, but accommodation as well with Casa Portuguesa. Is there any update from CEF or anything else exciting we should know from the world of migration and visas? Although there's been a holiday this week, so maybe that has had an effect on things.
Yes, but they have, even though CEF opened some vacancies for renewals of resident permit.
Oh, okay. And how's that going?
Well, it went well. We were able to renew some of our clients' resident permits until we were able to renew them until those that expire in the end of June.
Okay, all right, good stuff. Anything else from Seth? I know I ask this every week, don't I? Any signs of the change from Seth to APMA yet?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. All right, but I will keep asking. And of course, I'll have that Mandela update at 9:30, and any news on anyone else from the panel and their pets as well. Nuno, I will come back to you, Gilda. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Any questions, folks, for Gilda? Get them into the chat now, because we know what happens. People are quite casual and leisurely at this stage, and then we get more questions than we can answer in the second half. So get your questions in early, please. Nuno, great job. We just spoke to you, the deep dive into healthcare and the systems here in Portugal and overcoming hurdles. What a great job you did just now. That recording will be available soon. How are you now?
Better. Now Gilda, she's the one who has the stress of mainly most of the questions, not I.
It's true. But if you do have any questions, folks, from the world of insurance and the new products, I mean, for those people who weren't on the last call, Nuno, could you tell us just briefly about the new Health Guard cover that you've innovated and come up with? It's a brand new and brilliant product aimed specifically for people moving to Portugal.
Yes, so we detect a gap on all the health insurance policies in the market, because we work with almost all the insurers, and also on the public system, which is the healthcare at home. So this very new product was tailor-made, thinking on the community, taking into consideration pre-existing conditions, age, and so on, and also to fill the gap. So what is covered is nursing at home, physiotherapy at home, home care or home assistance, and home assistance includes someone that stimulates mobility, go to talk, to have a conversation, a companionship during the lunch or the dinner. So also clean the house. So it's about this. And finally, medical concierge assistance.
Great. Excellent.
Okay. Explanation of the report, the lab reports, and so on.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nuno. Any questions about that, you can ask them this evening. He's here. But also, if you prefer to email Nuno, it's iamsafe@winsurance.pt. Thank you for the time being, Nuno. Anything else, actually, before we leave you? Any other news from the world of insurance more generally?
No words. Some insurers are on sold.
What does that mean?
Are on sale.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay, that happens in the insurance. Oh, the insurance companies are up for sale, or their products are on sale. Oh, there's movement in a lot of insurance. Okay, all right.
Market concentration.
Okay, what's that going to cost us? I mean, if there are some really big hitters in the audience tonight, what sort of money are we talking about?
By now, doesn't affect us. So no problem. Any
All right,
problem arising from there.
those deals are being done as we speak. Okay, thank you, Nuno, for the time being. We also have Jacqueline here from Mortgage Direct. Hello, Jacqueline. How are you?
Hi, Carl. Thanks. I needed to unmute myself.
Great.
Good. Yeah, all good. Still from Rio. Still
wow.
helping everyone from here getting mortgages sorted in Portugal.
That's really
That
good.
is Rio de Janeiro.
Yes, of course. And oh yeah, I suppose other Rios are available, aren't they?
I don't
around the
know,
world.
but could be. I haven't done the research on that, but I'm sure there's places have Rio in it. But I think this is the most famous one, right? So a lot
I
of people
think
do
so.
know that.
The one people want to go to, and the one where you have your dream job in the mortgage business whilst working from Rio de Janeiro. How's it going? How's the industry looking at the moment?
Good in the sense that a lot of people are still buying. Like, I don't feel there's any slowdown of people interested in coming to Portugal. I think the Portuguese fame is just really, the driver of people wanting to relocate. It's safe. It's a beautiful country. The sun is shining most of the time, or more than other places. The beautiful nature, nice people, friendly people. It's just very attractive for people to relocate.
Yes.
In still a turbulent reality. Yeah.
Okay, and the lenders are still making offers, and you're finding a finance for people.
Yes, we are. And I think something interesting to mention is that lenders are actually very motivated also to transfer mortgages. So some people who might have a mortgage in place are not too happy with what conditions they're having right now. They can also talk to us to see if they can transfer the mortgage.
Okay, well, for a more competitive rate?
Or to secure a different rate. If you have a variable one and you want to jump on the fixed one, that's definitely an option.
Very interesting. Okay, there you go. Jacqueline's with us, jm@mortgagedirectsl.com. Don't forget the SL, and any questions about financing for property here in Portugal, ask away this evening. Excellent stuff. We've got greetings from Linda and Derek for Ugilda tonight. Aloha from Hawaii, from Len. Good evening to you. Hello from the Airstream. Susie's here, soon to be in sunny Palm Springs. Another dream life there. Tom Smith is in from Ohio, and Barack from Texas, and Marcy, hello from Indiana. Lots of questions coming in. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Can I just say, I can see that Charlene has joined us. She's
I do beg your pardon.
That's okay. She's a very new member of the Dream team. So she's an agent who can help property in Lisbon area. So she might just want to say a quick hello.
Please
so
do,
she's
Charlene. Yes,
Hi.
I'm so sorry to overlook you there. In quite a lot of people in the audience tonight. So Charlene, please, yes, do introduce yourself to everybody.
Yeah, sure, Carl. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So yeah, I'm Charlene from Cohabit Realty, and we work as an exclusive buyers agency. So we help buyers find the right property. We don't do any listings at all. So it's 100% on the side of the buyer and guiding them throughout the entire buying process here in Portugal. So yeah, my focus is really Lisbon area, but we do cover the entire Portugal. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me.
Excellent. Great to have you here. Just how exciting is the Lisbon area at the moment when it comes to finding property?
Well, things are definitely picking up. There was in the beginning of the year, I felt that things were really quiet. But I definitely do see since the beginning of last week that things are picking up. More people are reaching out. People are looking to buy properties. So yes, there was a lot of people sitting on the fence, just like waiting and seeing what's happening. But I'm seeing a lot of people are jumping on and just like taking this opportunity in finding property again. So I'm super excited about that. And yeah.
Oh, good to hear that news. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions for Charlene? Do put those into the chat as well, and we'll get them to you. Do you have it's a strange question, Charlene, but do you have a pet as well that you've brought this evening? People seem to bring their pets. I don't know if you've been warned about that.
I do. I had 2 cats,
right.
But then I had a little baby boy and my Siamese cat abandoned me. So
no. Okay, so there's movement in the
he
team
moved.
there. Right.
Yeah, he moved to the neighbor. So
okay.
I've got one.
All right, so we may get a cat update as well from Charlotte tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Right, so let's go to the questions then in the chat on Zoom. Isa, hello everyone. I have a question for Jacqueline for D7 residents in Portugal who are in their mid-20s, how can they begin building a credit score? What a great question in Portugal if they've never had credit cards or loans in their home country. Is there any trick or common practice in Portugal to start building a credit score for the first mortgage in the near future? That's some good thinking from Isa, isn't it? What to do about that, Jacqueline?
Well, thank you, Isa. Great question. And I think this is, it gives me really the opportunity to debunk some ideas people might have about mortgages. So don't worry that you don't have a credit history. I'm thinking you're coming from either a USA, UK reality, or at least something British or English oriented, let's put it that way. Where if you've never had a credit, it's really hard to get one. Don't worry about it. The Portuguese banks would be in love with you that you don't have any credit at all in the country or
really?
anywhere else. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's a very English, how do you say that? English origin mindset, where the idea is that if you have not had a credit, you cannot get a credit. It's
Right.
not that way. So thank you, Isa, for that lovely question. It allows me to debunk that idea.
That's
So
great.
do reach out to me, and the credit being granted to you for getting a mortgage has not so much to do with you having had credit history in Portugal itself.
So they're
they will
more
check it.
interested in the current situation and any bad history, I'm guessing, but there's nothing like Experian or so on here in Portugal.
There is, they will check the credit system, but to make sure that you don't have a bad credit,
Yes.
but not having credit, which in the UK, for example, if you don't have any credit,
Yes.
that is a bad credit score.
Yeah.
Which is not the case in Portugal. Okay.
Very good to know.
So yeah, so Isa, there's absolutely no reason for you to think I cannot get a credit or I cannot get a mortgage because I didn't build up any credit history with other lenders. No.
Oh, that's superb. Good to know. So that deals with that, I think. So if there's any more to your question, do let us know, but you don't have to take out credit cards just to build a credit history, as you might think of doing in the UK. Not as exciting as Rio, says Andrea, but hello from Hereford, UK. Sometimes I've heard that the Hereford can be really as exciting as Rio de Janeiro. Hi,
sometimes
Charlene.
You want
sorry, go on.
less. No, sometimes you want less excitement. I kissed the ocean bottom this morning when I was dipping in the sea, surfing for the first time, and it was very exciting. But
it sounds like not in a good way, kissing the ocean bottom. Did you get spun by the waves?
Yes, they were very powerful, and I have a newfound respect for the sea. So if I come above the glory, it's because I had a very interesting morning.
My goodness. Okay, well, that's a good thing to have a healthy respect for the sea. Certainly, something people should develop when coming to Portugal. The Atlantic can be quite violent and dangerous. So good. Thank you for that, reminding us about that. And get well soon as well.
Thanks.
I'm going to go back to Charlene now. We have your website address as asked for by Susie. What's the origin of the name there, Charlene, of your company?
There's no specific meaning to that. No, okay. It was just a hard one to pick one because here in Portugal, as you may know, like picking a name, they always say like, well, this is already been used, that's already been used. And I've went through names and names and names. And then my husband came home and he was like, that is the name of the company. And I'm like, great, that's it. So
job done. All right, good to know. It sounds so exotic, doesn't it? I thought you were going to, tell us maybe it was a little village you got married in. Right, okay, great stuff. All right, thank you for that clarification. And Isa, thanking you for the clarification on the credit score as well, Jacqueline. Let's go to Koshal. Question for relocation and D7. Let's go to you, Queen of the Visas, Gilda. Do I need the notarized passport apostilled San Francisco Embassy? Also, reproof of accommodation letter should be dated closer to time of application, or can I get it right now if I'm applying later in the year? My brother is in Portugal for a couple of weeks at his second home, and I would like him to get the letter notarized there, but is it too soon?
First question, the passport can be only notarized. It doesn't need to have the apostille. Well, at least for now. I don't know if they will change the criteria after. And for the proof of the accommodation letter, it should be closer when you are going to submit the process. Now, here's the thing: it should be a letter and also what they call a termo de responsabilidade. That is something that you need to take from the internet. So it can be a letter and also this term, because this is the official document. But in the letter, you are going to explain better if your brother has a resident permit here, because he needs to have a permanent resident permit to invite you. If that is not the case, but he only owns a house, he has to do a contract saying that he's going to borrow you the house. And then you need to recognize the signatures on that contract. They need to be recognized and notarized. It can be, his can be in Portugal and yours in the United States. But it should be closer to the time where you are going to submit your application. Also, if he owns the house, he should prove. He should put the deed or the document that shows that he owns the house for the process, and his document should also be notarized.
Okay, there you go, Kaushal. Anything else you need to know about that situation? Oh, already coming back. Should the accommodation form and letter original or scanned document?
Our original letter.
She said, yeah. Okay, so we're wanting the originals there, Kaushal. Thank you very much for the time being, Gilda. Tom Smith knows what you mean. We were talking about real estate, weren't we, in Lisbon? A new apartment popped up on Idealista today, and in less than 8 hours, it has over 50,000 views and has been favorited 2,700 times. That's what's going on in Lisbon at the moment, Charlene, isn't it? But I'm guessing you're drawing on many other. That's where most people go in onto Idealista, right? Other options are available, and you need your ear to the ground and a buyer's agent, not unlike yourself.
Yes, that is the website that I usually recommend when people want to get an idea of what money can buy for them in specific areas. I recommend going on Idealista. The other one is Imo Virtual, which is also used a lot in the north of Portugal. I do notice that. And then Casa Sapo. But I mean, when I do the search for my clients, I would look at all of those platforms for them and navigate it. But for people that just want to get a feel of what money can buy in certain areas, then yeah, Idealista is a great start.
Before the serious research and talking begins.
Exactly.
Great. There you go. Thank you for that, Tom, as well. And thank you, Charlene. Barak says, I received info from an agent with Eurobic Bank to have documents notarized and apostille. Well, can I come back to you, Gilda, and ask about the bank account situation? Sorry, I am not familiar with apostille in the US. So can you talk us through that and let us know if there are any improvements on getting people bank accounts?
Yes, actually, Eurobic is been helping us with the bank accounts, and we are having some success with it. And they take time, but I think they are being more speed up than the Millennium. We were working also with the Novo Banco and Caixa Geral, but they said that now we have already enough process, because what happened was that when Millennium stopped, they were overwhelmed with so many process, and now they stopped doing.
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, they say we don't accept anymore. So what we are doing, we still work with Eurobic and with Millennium now. But Millennium, I think that Eurobic, sorry, I think that they still have more time for the clients. So the documents, you need to go to a notary, and I don't know because I think it changes from state to state.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know in your state, which I think is Texas, where you can get an apostille. So maybe someone here from the United States can tell you. I don't know.
All right. Thanks for that, Gilda, for the time being. We'll go to Gail, who wants a clarification. Then we'll come back to you, Laurie. EI told us in our preview of our San Francisco consulate appointment in early June that having a notarized passport was sufficient, and that we could have notarized at our bank and did not need to be apostille. Can Gilda confirm that? That might be a particular state requirement then that you were referring to before, Gilda.
No, that was what I told here. It's that only a notarized copy of the passport would be enough. Okay,
there you go, Gail. And let's go to Laurie. Good evening to you, Laurie. We'll need you to unmute yourself there.
Okay, hi.
Hey, good evening to you.
Gilda, I think maybe what the person from the US was asking is, because I, as you may or may not know, this was hell for me with the apostille process in Arizona. The apostille is always done at the state's Secretary of State office. So that's usually in the capital of the state. And in most cases, you can go online to make the appointment. Now, I ran into a number of problems, first with Eurobic, and then the last one I tried was Millennium. And I thought I was all set because I was denied at the apostille office because Millennium wanted one apostille for all 13 signatures and 120 pages. I got a refusal letter saying Arizona couldn't do that. And they explained to me that they had to apostille each signature, and they limited the number of apostilles to 6 every 10 business days. So I texted, or rather emailed Millennium, and they said, well, okay, I know we said we would only accept one apostille, but we've spoken to the powers that be. We will accept multiple apostilles. So I thought, okay, I'm set. And I emailed her back. I said, fine, it should take me about a month and a half because I'm going to have to make 3 appointments. Well, it turns out the Millennium paperwork is barcoded, and you have to get that done within 30 days.
Oh.
Yeah. So I ended up going through a private attorney that I had been referred to by E, but it was hell. Now, this is what I am saying to anybody from the US who's struggling with the bank account. Before anybody sends you any documents at all to be notarized in preparation for the apostille, find out what the regulations are in your state, because it turns out every state determines their own interpretation of the Hague Convention.
As you were saying, Gilda, yeah.
Yeah, so some of them will let you get a single apostille for all the signatures. About half the states are like Arizona and require multiple apostilles. The other issue is most of the states have limits to how many apostilles you can get per session. So in fact, when I finally decided to give up with Millennium, I emailed Christine and I said, my recommendation to you with apostilles in the US, before any documents are sent from any bank to be notarized, first have the person have that apostille appointment in place. The first one, that's another one, because it's normally a couple weeks out before you can even get an appointment. So if you're on a 30-day clock, there's an issue there. So, and if there by any chance a state like mine that requires each signature to be apostilled, don't waste your time. Just get an attorney.
And all of this.
He will refer you to one. They referred me to one, but that's your best bet if you're in a state like mine where they insist on apostilling each signature.
Amazing, Laurie. From Laurie McDonald's forthcoming book on getting an apostille in the United States. I think it could be a bestseller. I think you should write that. You should write that ebook for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't want to relive the trauma, frankly.
I'm so sorry. All right, okay, forget that idea. All right, yeah, well, but thank you for your help. You know, seriously, thank you
Sure.
for your help there, because it is clearly, I mean, people are talking about this now in the Zoom chat. It is clearly an issue and a stress for people.
Yeah.
Gilles and team will see you through that. But thank you so much, Laurie. Really appreciate your help on that.
Sure.
And who was that with you? It's nearly 5:30. Who's your furry friend there? If you don't...
Are you talking about my
Yes.
Abby?
Hello.
My pups.
Hello. You get to be on the screen.
Yes, yes. She wants to meet Mandela, you know. I mean, what can I
So
say?
many people do, and pets,
Yeah.
of course. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that input.
Oh.
Really appreciate it.
Sure.
Cheers. Now, Gilda, Revolut is now headquartered, or at least has a major office in Portugal. Is that the deal breaker for CEF? Is that they want a Portuguese registered underwritten bank? What are the requirements? What are the CEF looking for from a Portuguese bank to call it a Portuguese bank?
Well, for now, it's not anything on the law stating that, but
Okay.
there is no regulation for that.
Yeah.
But they still say, and even today we had a meeting for investment funds, because they are still accepting for the 20 days the golden visa, and they said it needs to go through a Portuguese bank.
Okay,
And
so
of course,
it's not about the law, is it? Then it's about their current work practices and challenges to their work practices.
yes,
and
of course
don't want
it's
a third.
safe, and we don't want to challenge SEF, and
Yes.
we don't want our clients to be in stress.
Yes.
So
All
we
right.
say just
Understood.
go to
Keep it
a
simple.
regular
Keep it simple.
Portuguese bank. Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Mm.
Okay, thank you for that. Ursula is asking, whilst we're on banks, we're planning to move in October with EU and US passports. I have a Millennium bank account in Poland. Would it make it easier to open a Millennium account in Portugal? Funnily enough, I met the man recently who was a director for the advertising campaigns for BCP Millennium in Portugal and in Poland. Does that make it easier that they have a chain of banks in Poland as well as Portugal, do you think?
I can, sorry, go Gilla.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
So,
go on, Jacqueline.
It depends how eager the person in Poland is to connect you to someone in Portugal.
Right.
It's that simple.
Okay,
It's really, it works through connections. So
yeah,
we work from the Spanish and the Portuguese side, and we could connect some of our banking relationships in Portugal because we had Spanish relationship. Of course, we are a huge mortgage introducer broker, so we have a very different relationship. But the odds of someone working in a Millennium branch in Poland, knowing someone in Portugal, are not very big. It's not like they're in this group of people talking to each other.
sure.
So it's maybe more of an odds thing. Now, I don't want to open up this maybe can of worms for myself. I might be able to help with bank accounts, although the banks don't like it if I introduce clients just for a bank account. They want to do that. So they want to open a bank account for people because they want to get a mortgage.
Yeah.
So kind of have a workaround there. So anyone who's really struggling and the bank account is the thing in the middle of not making other things happening, you can reach out to me and I'll see if I can be of some support there with opening bank accounts. It might, you know, at some stage you would have to physically visit one of the branches of that brand, but I think we can make it work.
That's really helpful. Any help people can get sometimes with these things is gratefully received when it gets really stressful. Thank you for that, Jacqueline. And I'm hoping for Barak, Gail, and Ursula, that's all we need to know for the time being with apostilles, notaries, and bank accounts. If not, you know what to do. Do let us know. Let's take a quick question from YouTube.
Let just me say something. Sorry. For my experience with opening of bank accounts here in Europe, is that they are much easier than outside Europe. So even if you want to open before you come to Portugal, it's easy to realize that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The closer
and
you get,
you can open the bank account here and you can sign in a branch over there in Poland.
Okay, but the closer you can get to Portugal, the better, because Millennium, of course, have a London branch as well, don't they? Great. All right. Thank you for the time being. And we'll have our Mandela moment in just a moment. But after you said hello to Alan, who has a question. Alan Donovan, hello from San Diego, having a Charles III moment, getting a crown at a dentist. Not quite the same, and maybe a little bit cheaper than the UK coronation that's coming up, but maybe not a lot. Alan Donovan is asking, I am an American citizen with an Italian passport. If I move to Portugal, can my domestic partner get a visa to overstay Schengen restrictions?
Yes, yes. You need to do the process of an European citizen to be settled in Portugal. And then you need to bring your marriage certificate. Of course, that you need to be aware of the dates, so the marriage certificate won't expire, and also it needs to be apostilled, and then you can make the family reunion here in Portugal.
There you go, Alan. Good to know. Right, 2131. How is Mandela? We were finding out last week that you weren't really sure if he was that happy. He got quite spoiled while you'd been away. How is he? Has he improved at all? His demeanor and his disposition?
Yes, he's better now.
Thank goodness.
He's
Okay.
better. I was being worried, and he was acting really funny.
Yeah.
But he's better now.
Okay, so he got your attention. Basically, is what he wanted, I think, and all is well again. Very good. Okay, until the next holiday. Great. Glad to hear about that. How are your cats, Nunu? Are you at home this evening? Anywhere near your cats? Just a quick pet check.
I'm still in my house, but I think that I'll be sleeping not in my house.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna see these cats one day, I hope.
No, because the cats.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm going to the.
Don't disturb them. We don't want a grumpy cat on the screen.
No,
The cats come by. I mean, the thing about Zoom calls is that cats appear anyway, don't they? And want to show their bottoms off to the camera, generally speaking. We haven't had very much of that. Let's see what we can do about that. Okay, Nuno, I'll come back to you if your cat.
I'll try. I go for the more friendly.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. Charlene, you had a little bit of sort of pet politics going on. So you've got a moody or very particular Siamese that wasn't too happy about being displaced by a younger kitten.
No, she was not happy at all.
Right.
So yeah, we have a balcony. The balcony connects to the neighbor. So oftentimes we would leave the sliding doors open just so that, she can go outside, and then sometimes she goes and visits the neighbor. But yeah, just after I brought my little boy home, she came smelling him, and she went out and she went to him. And then she would nights, stay over there. Then she would come back, and then would just get longer and longer and longer. I tell you, the last time I saw my cat was probably a month ago.
Right.
He has taken her. And he was he was not really a cat person at first, until he met her, and she's sits on his lap, lets him pet her.
Amazing.
And she doesn't really like it when I do these type of things. It's almost like she's mad at me for bringing.
I'm sure that's true, Charlene. I'm sure that's true. And if you're wondering why we're talking about pets, it's very important to learn how the pets react and cope with being moved to Portugal, I think. So this is Pets Corner, or Expats Portugal, as Jerry said a few weeks back. Thank you, Charlene, for the time being. I thought we were going to have somebody on the call saying, yeah, I've got this mysterious Siamese cat that's just turned up, and we could have solved that mystery, but you know where your Siamese cat is going. Nunu, who is that with you?
Nala is a female.
Oh, and that's the friendly, happy one.
Oh, yes. This is very
What's
friendly.
the other one like?
Very friendly.
Oh, she is lovely. Perhaps not too keen on being woken up. Thank you very much. Have you got Have you got a black cat and a white cat, like yin and yang there, or what varieties are they?
The other is gray. It's a mixed
Excellent
color.
stuff. Okay, we're nearly there with the pet update. Jacqueline, Rio de Janeiro, a pet-friendly environment.
I currently live in front of a mountain.
Yeah.
Which is a mountain it's like a huge rock. That's a better way to describe it. They call it moro here.
Right.
It's like a wall, which means wall, right?
Yeah.
I saw a cat climbing up the wall, and I was like, is that a cat? Is that a squirrel? Is that a panther? I don't know. But I was like, that is such an adventurous animal for sure.
We will
which
check
kind of
in.
goes with the nature of
We will
Brazilians.
check in with the Gato de Moro next time we see you to see what's going on.
I'll try to make a picture for our next.
Please do for the forum. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the dream team business in hand then. Thank you, everybody. Nadine, I have a question about the student visa. Gilda, do international university students who get a student visa and study for 5 years in Portugal qualify for the citizenship and permanent residency?
Yes, as long as you have requirements to keep renewing the visa.
Yeah.
And you have resident permit for more than 5 years, you can ask for citizenship after 5 years.
Very good. Thank you for that, because Nadine is getting mixed information. Some say residency through studying doesn't lead to citizenship and PR, and some say it does. Well, you've heard from the Queen of the Visas there tonight.
Yeah.
Nadine. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Sorry, did you want to add something?
Yes. I don't know. You see, sometimes people get mixed information, but the law says, the nationality law says that you are entitled of getting the Portuguese nationality after being in Portugal legally with a resident permit. They don't say if it is with a D7, a D8, or a D6 in case of a study, or D4, sorry. So you can, it can be for study purpose, or if sometimes you can come. It happens many times. You can come with a visa for study, and then you finish your study and you change it for a work permit, and it's also valid to require the citizenship.
There you go, Nadine. Great answer. Thanks, Gilda. Let's go to Nunu now. What might clients over 75 expect the premiums to run for the home assistance policies? You've quoted there, haven't you, Nunu? But if we can have clarification for over 75s.
Yes. So this is an insurance of assistance. Okay. So insurance business is focused on risk, and here we focused on the assistance, the gap that we have in the Portuguese market. So there are no differentiation based on age.
It just keeps getting better, doesn't it? People are looking for the catch. This is fantastic. And as Jerry said in the last session, we'll do some specific work to make the terms and conditions, the T's and C's, really clear on that.
I told you that we worked hard on this.
Yes, you certainly did. Certainly did. And thanks for that prompt and reminder, Jerry. If anyone does want to contact anyone in the Dream Team, the folks who are here tonight, or anyone else in the wider business directory of Expats Portugal, just drop an email to admin@expatsportugal.com, and an introduction will be made if you prefer to speak person to person or email to email there. We can do that, admin@expatsportugal.com. Great. Okay, back to YouTube then. Hola, I have a job seeker's visa with single entry, and I have had this signed as I came to Portugal from the UK, Gilda. If I leave Portugal, can I come back by also using my UK EU tourist allowance? Can you mix it up?
I would say yes, but that is my interpretation. I think you are in a gray area.
Okay, so
I wouldn't do it.
All right. Okay. So best not to do that, Darren, is the answer there, because yeah, I mean, it's quite a risk to take, isn't it? It's a high risk strategy, you might say.
Yes, because my interpretation is that yes, because if you didn't have that visa, you could enter anyway as a tourist.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you can still enter, but you have a visa with one entry. So when you enter, it's like you expired your entry.
Yes.
And then the person that is receiving you, the safe person, or now what they say, the PSP person, because they changed the names, is in a good mood, or even now because it's a new function that they have. You need to give explanations or they may have different interpretations. So to be safe, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, all right. And sometimes, and there are many areas like this. Sometimes it sounds like a grey area because it is a grey area. And that might be the reason. Gail, I think I see you're corresponding with Gilda directly. If there are any outstanding questions or difficult unresolved questions about the apostilling, the notarizing and so on, do let us know. But it sounds like that's in hand.
No, but I need to clarify something.
Oh, go on, Gilda.
Because Gail thinks that she's missing like something to be apostille.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's doing, if there are a couple of she's doing a process by herself, she doesn't need to have anything apostille.
Okay, there you go, Gail.
Only for the bank account opening.
All right.
Yes, she needs the copy of the passport notarized. And as she says in another phase, the driving records apostille for the driving license exchange. If they are going to do, when do you need something with an apostille? When you are going to do a family reunification with your spouse or with your children, then you will need the certificates, the marriage certificates or the birth certificates with an apostille.
Okay.
Or if you want to come to the university in Portugal or find a job that needs a certain accreditation, you need also the diplomas with an apostille.
Right. Okay. So there you go, Gail. I think that should clarify things
Yes.
for you there. If not, of course, just come back to us and we'll see what we can do. Darren, thank you for your question. It is a grey area, as you heard. And thank you for your suggestion of other Rios available. Rio Grande, of course. Colin Jackson asking, again, another one for you, Gilda. Is it possible to have a post-dated rental agreement for the D7 appointment? I'm guessing that's as opposed to one that's currently running.
It is, but not very far away. For instance, 1 month or 2 months.
Okay, but
because
not,
it is supposed that when you enter the process, it is supposed that it's going to be approved.
Yeah.
Like in 2 months. So that's the most postponed you should deliver it.
Okay. Thank you for that and the clarification on that. Good evening to you, Colin, and thank you for your question. Mr. S, hi, Gilda. I understand that financial representatives are no longer necessary. Were they ever absolutely necessary, having a fiscal representative?
Yes, they were.
Okay, and that is not the case any longer?
It depends. Okay, I'm going to explain.
Yes.
First, they are no longer necessary if you are not going to have a house or a job or open an activity here, or if you are not going to rent or have receipts here. Okay. Otherwise, you will need a tax representative until you move to Portugal and change your tax residency.
Okay.
There is also another thing that if you have you don't have a tax representative and you put your address in the United States, you are never going to get the password from the finances. If you don't get the password from the finances, you cannot get in the portal. And then you cannot do anything. You need to wait. You come to Portugal, you need to get an appointment. You need to go to the tax office. You need to try to get a new password.
That is a special kind of hell, is it not? Yes. So be careful with that. Okay.
So for this thing, yes, according to the law, there are now some things that you don't need a tax representative it's not needed for everything.
Mhm.
But if you don't have one, things can be a little bit confused,
And thank
especially
you.
for getting the password.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about that last week, didn't we? About sometimes fiscal representatives who won't give over those details. If you don't need one anymore, how do you instruct this? Because that's the second part of Mr. S's question. How do I remove mine? Do you write to them and tell them their services are no longer required?
Of course, as soon as you change your residency to Portugal, they automatically are removed.
Okay, all right. But a courtesy, a letter, a copy to them would be quite useful, would it not? To say you are no longer necessary.
Yes.
I'm letting you go. Okay, all right. Thank you for that. It's not me, it's you. No, it's not you, it's me. Okay, maybe sometimes it is you and not me with the fiscal representatives. Anyway, Caroline, and we also have Colleen asking about travel insurance. You've been busy working hard behind the scenes, I think, here, Nuno. Can you talk about travel insurance coming to Portugal?
Okay, so the question was if it is mandatory do travel insurance. No, it's not mandatory. It's a question of managing risk. So there are people that are more risk taker, others that are more risk avoider. In my opinion, what could worry is not the medical expenses level, no matter if we are talking about 100 euros for a consultation or 20,000 euros for a surgery. Okay, it's a question of numbers and amounts. But my concern is about repatriation. So if we, unfortunately, we stay in a situation that we need to stay at the hospital for weeks, maybe we want to be repatriated to our country of origin. And the repatriation costs a lot of money, and a lot of money could cost 200,000 euros. Yeah. So it's not mandatory, but if you are not a risk taker, yeah, you should.
It might not be the best place to try and save some money, basically.
Yes, because often people think about insurance has a cost. Yeah. Mainly if you are Portuguese, okay, it's always has a cost. But insurance we are buying peace of mind. Yeah. If I have a life insurance, I don't want to be that just to, yes, I have life insurance. No, I don't want to use my insurance policy. So with the travel is the same. And it's cheap, a travel insurance. So in my opinion, I'll do it.
All right. So thank you for that, Nuno. Between you and Gilles, and I'm picking up the pace now because I knew this would happen quite at the beginning. Now we've got loads of questions to get through. Why would expats need 1 year of travel insurance if arriving in Portugal on a D7 visa and usually having the CEF appointment within 3 or 4 months, whereby the private health insurance comes into play if not activated earlier? And so seems 6 months would be sufficient for the D7 visa. I'm going to try to email the VFS and ask what they require for San Francisco. Let's go to you, Gilda, on that. Already smiling about this.
No, that's only because the consulates start doing that.
Yes. Okay. So again, it's not the law. It's just a habit.
It's not the law. It doesn't make any sense. At the beginning, it was only for the 4-month period of the visa. Yeah. Why? Because it was supposed that the CEF meeting was to be occurred in those 4 months. And then, of course, the CEF didn't have the capacity. And yes, the CEF appointment started to be after the expiring date of the visas. But I think that 1 year, they are exaggerating.
Okay,
too much.
So it's not the law, it's a habit that's been slipped into, and those habits kind of die hard, don't they? They become almost like the law. Yes. And to avoid causing unnecessary problems, it's best to go with that flow, is what I'm gleaning from that. So hopefully that helps Alison and Gail. You know what to do if it didn't. And Kushal, I think that's really a question that maybe warrants a discussion one-to-one, because it's quite complex there. Let's go back to Nunu for his view on this.
Sorry, also different consulates require different
rules.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so be aware of that as well.
Welcome to Portugal.
Is it not just a matter of practicality? When people from abroad come, they're a bit more vulnerable, and then when they have at least travel insurance, that they have somewhere to go to when something happens, so that you alleviate the official systems.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I mean, that's a theory.
It's a very practical. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Portugal is extremely safe, but if you are new to any reality, you're just more vulnerable.
And why not have that peace of mind?
And the second thing is, everyone who arrives to Europe, or well, not the first time, maybe second, third time, they're like, whoa, I can travel anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, there's a practical point of having travel insurance, because you probably like that idea of hopping around countries next to each other.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, well said, Jacqueline. Thank you for
I
that.
used to work in insurances before I worked in the mortgages.
I thought there was something there that might be behind your share there. Thank you very much.
No problem.
James, EI was able to get my brother a new CEF appointment after the consulate sent him an appointment that expired even before he'd received a visa. Christina and staff fixed that. Yay! Question for Gilda from James. Do we have to have the original signed NIF certificate for our CEF appointments, or is a copy okay?
Is a copy okay?
Good, copy's okay. There you go, James. Good luck with all of that, boss sort. Speaking of health insurance, my US policy is valid in Portugal, but doesn't cover repatriation. How long do I need to keep a travel policy in place to keep CEF / app? I see what you did there, Tom Smith. Happy. So what do you think on that, Gilda? How long does does Tom have to keep the travel policy in place to keep CEF happy? I mean, depends which one, doesn't it? Depends which consulate we're talking about, as you said.
No, this is I think that this is when he goes to the CEF appointment.
Okay.
I'm assuming that.
Right. Clarify that for us, if you will, Tom.
In this case, I would say that it's just need to be valid.
Okay.
I would say 1 month would be enough, expecting the time of the cards to arrive.
All right. There you go, Tom. An answer there. Gail, good call on this one. No one mentioned it yet. The calçadas, who respect no man, pauper or prince. Another good reason to have insurance when you come to Portugal. Slippery calçadas. Gilda, you look troubled by something.
Yeah, because it's like the third time this week that someone asked me this question about the NIF certificate or the copy. I don't know where this is coming from.
It's interesting, isn't it? From your point of view, you get trends, don't you, that come up, and you want to forensically find out where this all started. Okay, that might become apparent.
Okay, so let me explain. Since 2020, the NIFs are electronic, issued, so there aren't stamps. So why would they ask for a stamp? You know, we've been going to CEF with so many people all these days, and no one asked for a stamp in the NIF. Well,
but you see a different trend emerging. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, maybe we can check in again with that next week and see what the deal is with that. Cheers, Tom. Gilda was correct just until the CEF appointment, so that's dealt with. And go, yeah, if one slips on a cobblestone, the calçadas, like one other expectant expat did. Were they expecting, or were they expecting to be an expat and broke her leg a few days into her scouting trip? So the travel insurance, agreeing with you there, Jacqueline, is probably well worth it. Thank you very much. Let's see how many we can answer over on YouTube now. Quick fire if possible, because I do have the question of the week for you too to finish with. I'll ask each of the four of you a question. Gilda and Nunu still want to speak. Go on, Gilda.
I'm sorry, we have an interesting question here that I want to answer.
Go on.
It's someone that is asking, they want to stay in Portugal for 6 months, and they are asking here if they need to ask for a special visa to stay for 6 months. Well, they can ask for a digital nomad visa, that one that is not the resident one. It's the temporary temporary staying for digital nomad, which is granted for 6 months. This is for Caroline. But also what you can do is that you can come on the 3 months period of tourist visa, and then you are able to renew that tourist visa period for another 3 months.
There you go, Caroline. Great. Thank you for picking up on that, Gilda. Great stuff. Let's see how many of these that are left that we can get through. I'm going to refer you, the person who was asking about the Canadian driving license exchange, to last week's webinar when the ACP spoke to us at length about that. Ubi's here. Antonio F., thank you for all your help in the chat on YouTube. That was you, Wendy Wood. So take a look at last week's webinar for the driver's license exchange, or get directly in touch with ACP through the Expats Portugal business directory. Kendall, so once I get my D7 visa, I am told that it is tough to go smoothly at a CEF appointment without a Portuguese speaker to accompany you, even though they ask the same questions as are on the D7. That's the benefit of taking an EI colleague along with you, isn't it? There's a solution. But is it tough if you go along without a good grasp of Portuguese? How is that going to be for people, Gilda?
Well, I must say that once again it depends from CEF to CEF. I would say that CEFs like Cascais and Lisbon can be easier, but if you take like Setúbal, it's terrible. They are not going to make an effort to help you or to try to speak English. And the same like if you go to Castelo Branco. Well, there are CEFs that they don't try to help you.
And then suddenly you find somebody who worked in England for 10 years, who happens to be in Guarda or Castelo Branco, who can absolutely help you. So it really is a luck of the draw, I think you're saying, isn't it, as to what's going to happen. So best to be well prepared. Take an EI colleague along with you for those sorts of things. For that question, Kendall, I think that was. We also have, we're not going to get to all of these. Please do come back next week or put them on the Expats Portugal forum, expatsportugal.com/community. Thank you for all these questions. Let's see how many we can do. A new one. I applied for a digital nomad visa. Didn't hear back from the embassy. And that was submitted in January, Gilda. Should I email the embassy? Usually digital nomad is quicker than a D7, isn't it? I'm from Abu Dhabi.
What embassy?
Abu Dhabi.
They are taking too much time. Abu Dhabi.
So that's not unusual then to apply in January.
No,
Still have heard nothing.
It isn't.
All right. So what should Nuan do in that instance?
Try to send those emails with copy of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Okay. All right. Get some help from the top there. Okay. If you are in the EU, says Leslie, what is the process if you want to live in Portugal? Do you still have to apply for a D7, or can you just live there without the visa? We need to know a bit more, don't we, about Leslie's nationality? I mean, just because you're in the EU, we don't know where you've come from, and that's the all-important part of it. Colin, grateful for your answer, Gilda, earlier on. And we had, I think it was Alan who was asking, Charlene, can you help people in Portimao?
Sorry. Yes, absolutely. I just recently sold 2 homes there about 1 month ago to an.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, to a couple from America. They bought 2 houses right next to one another, one renting out, and they're coming soon.
Fantastic.
So, yes.
So a great big yes then to Alan Donovan there. I think apart from this last one, thanks, Charlene, on that. One question before I ask you question of the week, everybody, our panelists tonight. Kay Renee, for the D7, this is a great question to finish tonight. How much do you think the financial requirement will go up in 2024? I know it's hard to predict. It's crystal ball territory, but are you anticipating a hike in the income requirements of the D7 come 2024, Gilda?
I am. But
it was like X Factor for a minute, or Portugal's Got Talent, that long pause there.
Well, Actually, what I think it's going to be the next victims are not going to be the D7, are going to be the digital nomads.
Oh, okay. So you do expect change, and you're expecting things to perhaps become a little more difficult, or not expensive exactly, but the requirements to rise.
Yes.
Okay. On that note, I hope that was helpful, if not the best possible news for our questioner there. Thank you, everybody on Zoom and on YouTube. Just finally, I was finding out this morning that the Portuguese arrived in Japan. And they were called barbarians by the Japanese. The southern barbarians was the literal translation. But the Japanese did love the sweets and pastries that they introduced to the Japanese. And to this day, they have a sweet noodle. Fiosh de ovos, I think, is the sweet that the Japanese have picked up and run with. For expats, immigrants, foreigners coming into Portugal, I would like the recommendation of a pastry that you should try on arrival here that isn't the pastel de nata. So we're not going to go for that easy one. Let's go with you, Charlene, as somebody who may or may not like or have a sweet tooth here. What would you recommend to the newbie in Portugal as a sweet they should try that they may not have heard of?
Wow. I'm not.
Of malts? Sorry.
No, I don't. I'm not, because I'm gluten intolerant, so I don't.
No, so it's difficult. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But what I do sometimes go for is pastel de nata. That's just my favorite. So
Okay, but no bola de Belém for you with the gluten intolerance there.
no, I love that though, but no.
Okay, well, sorry to hear that, and sorry to put you on the spot there with such a difficult question, as it turns out. We've heard Gilda's already. Nuno, what should people try? Have we still got Nuno with us, or has he gone to the pasteleria?
Yeah. I'm just turning on my micro. Oh, I'm with Gilda. Ovos moles. No doubt about that.
Okay, emanating from Aveiro, I think. Very eggy and yolky indeed. I think Jerry wants to take part in this as well. Jerry?
Well, no, I don't have a sweet tooth, so I'm not even that keen on pastel de natas. Can you believe that? I know. I should be expelled.
All right.
But I love those. I've forgotten what they're called. The meat rissoles.
Oh yes, rissoles de carne, are they not?
Yes, I think so. I love those. And the other night I had two and sliced them and put them on a soft roll with some tomato and garlic sauce. It's just delicious.
Living the dream there. Living the dream.
Yeah, living the dream.
You'll hear more about this dream lifestyle next week.
What was it?
What was that, Jerry? Explain.
What do you call them, Carl? The
rissoles de carne.
Yeah.
Says Gilda.
Yeah. No, I'm not impressed there. Okay.
No.
All right.
Jacqueline, finally then.
We'll do something else when you come for dinner.
Jacqueline, in Rio de Janeiro, you'll have one or two pastelerias and padarias, I think, there. What's your favorite? What would you recommend?
So I'm gonna go with Jerry. I'm not really of a sweet tooth either. But wait. I'm gonna disagree with Jerry at the same time. If you eat anything with sugar in Brazil, you have to visit the dentist the next day, because you're glazing. How do you call it? That protection layer of your teeth is just gone. There's so much sugar in everything. It's like 5 times the amount of sugar in anything regular.
Yeah.
So I'm not really have a sweet tooth, but I'm going to disagree with Jerry here, because I do think a pastel de nata goes really good with a strong Portuguese coffee. So I even ordered a pastel de nata here in a pastry shop, which is Porto. They call themselves Portugal without the L. I don't know why, but anyway, that's how they advertise. And they have all kinds of Portuguese sweet things, savory things. All of it is amazing. But I think strong Portuguese coffee with pastel de nata is not a bad combination at all, even if you don't have a sweet tooth. But maybe you need the coffee to wash it down.
They're very good.
Carl, we do have the Queen of Pastries now on the Expats Portugal books. I'd like you to ask that question of Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, are you there? And would you like to ask? Oh, we talk about Jacqueline Mullen here.
The other one.
Oh, the other
No, Jackie.
Hi, I'm so excited you asked me this. I was dying to say something.
Excellent.
So you're right. I have an incredible sweet tooth. And 2 things I really love. One is known in Sintra, but there's a place called Periquita. I don't think they make the best ones, but they're pretty good. They're called pillows in Portuguese. I don't know the word, and it's an almond pastry that's so delicious.
Travesseiros de Sintra.
Yes, that's it. But I
stop
like
it.
them at other bakeries better than there. That's one of my favorites. And the other thing are, and I don't know if this is Portuguese, Russos, Russians, and it's all cream. It's like a big chunk of cream with a flaky pastry. It's amazing and so delicious. I mean, I think all the pastry here is delicious. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Everything.
we thought you might say that, Jackie. Thank you so much, everybody.
Wait. What about the bolas de Berlim at the beach?
It's the only place to have it, some say.
Wonderful.
What's in it for me? Sand.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
the bolas de Berlim.
No, I know what you mean. The custard-filled donut, basically. Although it should not be, it's much more special than a custard-filled donut. It is the best, absolutely right. And Atelier de Dos do the best here on the Silver Coast. Thank you, everybody, and all the translations, the transcriptions in the chat. Great session tonight. Thank you, Jackie, Queen of the Pastries, your new title. More recommendations next week. Thanks, everybody. And seriously, if you did have a question that didn't get answered, I'm genuinely sorry. But just pop over to the Expats Portugal forum now, expatsportugal.com/community. Ask the question there. And we'll be back, of course, next week at 9 o'clock and after the webinar for Best Place to Live in Portugal, where Jerry will probably want a pastry after his efforts. Last word to you, Jerry.
Thank you. Thank you, Gilda. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, Nuno. And thank you to our newest member, Charlene. Thank you very much. And thank you, members, for all your interesting questions and lovely to see you all. Next week, our first webinar on Thursday will be the Battle of the Regions. And it will be Central Portugal versus Alentejo. And then I think the following month, we will have Lisbon versus the Porto area. And the winners of each of those rounds will go through to the final. So that's the start of next Thursday night. And then, of course, our dream team will be here at 9 o'clock. And next Saturday, being the first Saturday in the month, we have our social webinar with Hank and Connie going out at 9 o'clock Lisbon time. So everybody's welcome. It's a social, have fun, and obviously learn a little bit more about Portugal, but not the pastries.
Great job. Cheers, Jerry. Just time for your catchphrase.
I love pastries. We can keep talking about that.
I got that
So next
impression.
session, only pastries. Nothing visa, nothing mortgages. Forget about it. Just pastries. You lead the subject, Gilda.
Let's have pets and pastries next week. Great job. See you where, Jerry?
Expatspastries.com. See you all in Portugal. Thank you. Good night.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.